draft? Because I want something else I want to talk about.
I talked about Ben Bonniger for a little bit. We saw what they did with Darius Leonard last year, and how good they're drafting in that point of the draft. I wouldn't be surprised if he was the talent that Darius Leonard is in next year as well.
So you really think that like, what do you think the odds are that happens? That they just get another Darius Leonard? Like, you think that's, second round pick from the Colts, you're going to be an elite linebacker? Like, is that how it works?
No, but I actually do think that the people that are making the draft picks have shown a lot more than the people that are making the draft for the Colts have shown a lot more than people that make the draft picks for the Texans.
Let's try to back away from the draft a little bit. Let's talk about more Colts and the Texans stuff.
I have something I'd like to say. So I want to talk about the running game a little bit, and I really think Lamar Miller is an underrated running back. You know, I know you. Like, that might be an unpopular opinion, but really, I think he's going to be better this year. He rushed for almost 1,000 yards last year behind that terrible offensive line. But you know what? Look, as offensive linemen get better, if the offensive line gets better, running backs get better too. Look at the elite running backs. Ezekiel Elliott behind a great offensive line. Todd Gurley behind a great offensive line. Alvin Kamara behind a great offensive line. Look, as it is a proven correlation that as offensive line ability goes up, running backs often succeed higher. And it's not just Lamar Miller. I don't even know how to say this guy. I think it's Deontay. Donta or Deontay? Okay. I'm a Texans fan, and I'm not even sure how to say this guy's name. Donta Foreman will say, I'll double check on that. He barely played last year, and he's going to be a solid number 2 running back. Look at his college stats. In 3 years, over 2,800 rushing yards. And you just look at that, and you see, like, that's a big deal. You know, that's a big deal. 20 touchdowns in his college career. He is coming to the NFL level. He was hurt all last year. He's coming. So it's not all going to be on Lamar Miller. And you look at running backs, they often do good when they have a companion. Not a guy that's going to steal the show, but kind of take some of the pressure off of him. So this is a guy that was forgotten because of injury, but we can't forget how good this guy was in college. 2,800 yards in 3 years, and in his first year, he only played in 7 games. So this running attack is going to be deadly, and I think it will be better than the Colts.
How long has Donta Foreman been in the league for?
Last year, like, I technically was his rookie year, but he was injured.
Okay. First of all, if you're a Texans fan and you don't even know the player's name, I don't think that gives you the right to say that he's good.
I don't know what this apostrophe means, and I have stats
also,
right in front of me, so I think I have some sort of way to say he's good.
Yes, that's college stats from 2 years ago. That could be a lot different than the NFL. Anyways, you were talking about how good dual threats can be. You kind of really just helped me out there because there's a huge dual threat with Nyheim Hines and Marlon Mack, a lot bigger than Donta Foreman and Lamar Miller. I think Marlon Mack is a better running back than Lamar Miller, and Nyheim Hines is a better running back than Donta Foreman. I don't think you could argue either of those points.
No, I could argue one of them. The second one you said is completely true because I think it's pretty obvious that a guy that's barely played is not good. But Lamar Miller was a Pro Bowl player last year. Was Marlon Mack in the Pro Bowl? Do you know?
I don't know, actually.
Okay, and you can check that. And he recently said that he wants to be more part of the pass game. And there's a quote. I can show you it on the NFL app after this video if you want. He said he wants to be more part of the pass game. That's great. He had 25 catches last year. So that number is going to probably go up. And those running backs that can catch and run tend to be the great ones in the NFL. You look at the running backs that are elite, they help out in the receiving game. Example, Saquon Barkley for the Giants. You know, Lamar Miller is just underrated. I have just proven it again and again, almost 1,000 yards, averaging over 4.5 yards per carry. And now he wants to do more. He's saying, I want to do more. He wants to contribute to the offense more, and he will. The Texans' offense is just on a straight trend up. The proven is there. The potential is increasing as well. DeAndre Hopkins is proven. Deshaun Watson is proven. The offensive line is potential, and that potential is growing. The running game is potential, and that potential is growing. That is what's happening. And I haven't even talked about their defense. I don't even know if I need to, but I think we can both agree at just the eliteness, if you will, of the Texans' defense.
Yes, I will agree with that, but I do think that the solid offense, or not the solid, the great offense for the Colts is going to be able to overcome the solid defense for the Colts. You can't really deny that they do have some great players on that defense, not as great as the Texans. And going back to the running back thing, you talked about how Lamar Miller was a Pro Bowler. Yes, Marlon Mack was not a Pro Bowler, but Lamar Miller did have 973 yards and he was really the only running back featured in that, so that helps that offense a little bit. Marlon Mack, not even just being the only the running back featured in that offense, had 908 yards. That's very close to the same amount, and don't tell me Alfred Blue did that much. Let's look up Mayhem stats.
Okay. And I want to hear a little bit about quarterbacks and wide receivers, and then I think I'll have my opinion down. So
right. Can I say one quick thing? Because he just kind of made a statement that wasn't really true.
Okay.
He said that Lamar Miller pretty much just had the entire running game. That is completely not true because when you have almost 500 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns and 20 catches and 150 rushing attempts, I think you have a pretty good share of the load, and that's what Alfred Blue, the Texans' backup running back, who's now a Jaguar, had in 2019. So when you say Lamar Miller kind of had an advantage because he just had it all to himself, that's not true.
We're talking about this year now.
Okay, then he has Dante Foreman.
Dante
Foreman.
Okay, we're done with running backs, please. I wanted to hear, so we've almost come to the conclusion that DeAndre Hopkins is better than T.Y. Hilton. But I want to hear the argument between Paris Campbell and what's his name? Whoever's the second receiver for
Will Fuller.
Will Fuller. Thank you.
All right, do you want to start that one off? Or?
Yeah, look, Will Fuller his presence on the field is not only going to benefit him; it's going to benefit almost everyone on that Texans offense because it's going to divide the attention from DeAndre Hopkins. Because then everyone's going to say, oh, look, we can just put all our good cornerbacks on Hopkins. Yeah, this is easy. But no, you have Will Fuller. He is actually a guy that's done good things. He has over 1,500 receiving yards in his career. He has 13 touchdowns in his career. He has shown stuff on the field that he could be a solid number 2 receiver. And Paris Campbell is just a question mark. Like, could he be good? Yes. Do I think it was a decent pick? Yes. But how will they utilize him into the offense? Like, we don't know. Like, Will Fuller has proven more than Paris Campbell. You talk about, Dante Foreman hasn't played. That's college stats. Well, Paris Campbell hasn't played, so I really think
college stats were from 2 years ago.
Okay, so that
and coming off an injury
Well, both of our quarterbacks have came off injuries and done just fine. So why can't that happen for Foreman?
All right. Well, I really don't know anything about Foreman, so I'm not gonna pretend like I do.
Okay.
All right.
Well, tell me about Paris Campbell.
I will tell you about Paris Campbell because that is someone I know a lot about. So, I do think Paris Campbell is a better receiver than Will Fuller. I know we haven't seen him in the NFL at all, but just what we've seen in college, it really shows that I feel like he's going to be able to bring what he has into the NFL very well. And you talked about how that's going to take pressure off DeAndre Hopkins. For many, many years, it's just been T.Y. Hilton and that offense, and the only really receiver that was ever covered. Now you finally have someone that you can take the pressure off of him. We don't know what that's going to mean for the Colts. That's got to help the Colts a heck of a lot. So I think that's going to be even better for them. And Paris Campbell, we've seen his speed. He had the best 40-yard dash time in this draft, I believe. So, yes. That's what I have to say about that.
So,
I just have one more question. We're not going to stay on this for long.
I have one more thing I want to get out.
I want to ask a question, and I just want one word answer. Who is the third best receiver for the Texans?
That'd be Kiki QT.
Tyler, who is the third best receiver for the Colts?
Well, there's a couple guys that could be involved in that conversation.
I'm asking you the question.
Hold on, they're all kind of close. I have to kind of look and see. T.Y. Hilton, Paris Campbell. Why can't I find it?
Maybe they don't have a good number 3 receiver. Maybe Kiki QT is better.
Zach Pascal or Chester Rogers. I'd have to say Chester Rogers.
Can I say just one quick thing about what? Can I just respond to what he said about Paris Campbell real quick?
No, I'm sorry.
All right, fine.
And then I want to hear a little about the quarterbacks, and then I'll have my decision.
I'll start it off with quarterbacks. We've seen Andrew Luck prove what he's been able to do for many, many years in clutch situations. We've seen him be there. With Deshaun Watson, not so much. We saw him in the playoffs, though. When they played the Colts, actually, and lost that game at home to the Colts. He just didn't perform well. We've seen, like I said, Andrew Luck has done so much in clutch situations. The only knock on him that compared to Deshaun Watson, is his scrambling ability, but it's perfectly fine to be a pocket passer, and that's what Andrew Luck is. And when you need him to get outside the pocket, he's also able to do that. Pinpoint accuracy throws. He's one of the better arms in the NFL. We saw him. He's Brazilian. We saw him come back from the injury. Got comeback player of the year. So there's just so much there for Andrew Luck. I would say he's top 3 quarterback in the NFL, in my opinion, and I would say top 5 in most people's opinion.
Okay, Ryan.
All right, so about Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson is one of the rising stars of the quarterback. You know, he actually did really good when he threw for 375 yards and 2 touchdowns in a game where the Colts lost to the Texans at home. And then you really just I'm looking at his stats. Week 3 against the Giants, 385 yards. 375 yards twice. And sure, he had some inconsistency as you're looking at these numbers. 339. There are bright spots here. And you know what? Deshaun Watson is a far better scrambler than Andrew Luck. He moves around. He can move around. There was this play against the Eagles. It was crazy. I don't know how he kept it alive. It was on the NFL's Instagram once. It was crazy. He could keep plays alive. He can move around in the pocket far better than Andrew Luck can. And Deshaun Watson came off of an injury too. If that's where something, I want to get that out there too. I think it is. He came off of a torn ACL injury. Andrew Luck came off of a shoulder injury. Both kept him out for a lost time. Kudos to both of them for making great comebacks. And Deshaun Watson, he could put up points. Look at this game against the Dolphins. 42 points for his team. And then, even in the games that they lose, they still put up points. They put up 30 points in a loss, 22 points in a loss. And just you talk about consistency. A 9-game winning streak is consistency. And Deshaun Watson did this all really without a valid number 2 receiver for most of the season. It was just DeAndre Hopkins and other. Because Fuller was hurt. Then they got Demaryius Thomas. And then Demaryius Thomas was hurt. And then Kiki QT was battling a hamstring injury all year. Deshaun Watson can do it with anyone. He will be great for years to come.
You talk about consistency with the quarterback. You said how they won 9 games in a row. Well, let's look here. From week 7, they did lose 1 game in the middle of this, but there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of their last games. They won 9 of their last 10 games, and that's pretty consistent to me. In all those games, you see Andrew Luck putting up 200, 300, almost 400 in a couple of these games. So you can see
what? Yards?
Yeah, yards.
Interceptions.
Interceptions, not really that too many. He had he had 1 game where he had 2 interceptions in the game, and that was against Miami. So pretty consistent on all levels there. And you said that there were a couple things that we pointed out to you for Deshaun Watson. Well, there's a lot of them here for Andrew Luck. Plenty of great stat games, and just everything looks positive. Good QB ratings. Looks all really good. It's gonna keep it up next season.
Are we done, or you got something else you want us to talk about?
No, I'm just making my decision. It's very close here.
That was a good argument.
That was fun.
Mm-hmm. I don't know how long this video is.
Yeah, it's only 40
I'm gonna
minutes.
split it into 2 parts probably. So
We'll see. Do we have closing statements or no?
You guys can put a closing statement in. Sure, I'm trying to decide here.
Because that's like actually a thing.
Yeah, go ahead. You go
Alright.
first.
So, I mean, I just want to talk about, Tyler talked about Paris Campbell a lot, and I'm just curious about how I think about this. Like, what did these teams that passed on him see? Mecole Hardman was a guy that was relatively unheard of prior to the draft prospects, who was taken before Paris Campbell. And then, look at Kiki QT, a guy that I really feel like we haven't talked about enough. He's going to be their number 3 receiver. He showed bright spots, and just looking at his stats, he had a huge game. You know that playoff game against the Colts where the Texans just came out flat? Yeah, he had 110 receiving yards in that game. They lost 21-7. He had their 1 touchdown. He can contribute. DeAndre Hopkins was hurt that game. Obviously, Will Fuller was hurt. So when he needs the moment, he could step up. He was essentially their number 1 receiver in that game. 110 yards and a touchdown, but the rest of the team really didn't show up, but we don't need to talk about that game. And then, also, look, we didn't talk about the defense, but that defense is elite no matter how you put it. I'm not going to overanalyze it. I don't want to get over my time. The defense is elite, and that argument is irrefutable.
all right, now it's my turn for the closing statement. Yes, the defense is better. I will give you that, but the offense, I believe, is a lot better for the Colts. Just about the same margin there as the defenses are better, in my opinion. So much to talk about. We talked about the running backs for a while. I believe the running backs are both better. You talked about Paris Campbell also. I did mention him a lot. Yes, as I always do. But you also have to realize how late receivers like Antonio Brown in the draft, many teams pass on him multiple times. That doesn't always mean things just because teams pass on people that they're going to be bad. We saw a lot of people pass on Darius Leonard last year, and the Colts saw something in him, and they got something out of him as well. So that's really not something you can say. Andrew Luck is an elite quarterback. There's no other way to put it. The offensive line is the best offensive line in the league. They barely let any sacks on Andrew Luck. Absolutely incredible what they did. A solid defense. Great wide receivers. Not great wide receivers, but pretty good wide receivers. They'll be able to help Andrew Luck out a lot. This is all around just a solid team on defense and a great team on offense. And it's going to lead to a lot of firepower this year. And you're going to see it happen when they win the AFC South.
That it?
Okay. The results are in. We have a winner.
You should play like the draft jingle.
Now, I'm going to be honest. This is a very hard decision.
Before he says this, comment below who you guys think won the argument.
Yeah. Or who you think is going to win the AFC South, or provide your own arguments. We want to hear it all.
Yep. Now, before I give who won, I would just like to say these arguments were very good by both sides, and it is honestly very hard for me to choose. I've heard many points from both sides. Of course, a lot of points were stressed more than others, and mentioned a lot more on both sides. We talk about Paris Campbell. We could talk about Will Fuller being another guy who could help DeAndre Hopkins, stuff like that.
Talk about AJ McCarron.
All that stuff was brought up a lot. So very hard decision. Really, you guys argued very well for certain defense. So I'll just tell you certain things. I had the Colts line being better from what I heard. I had the Texans defense being better from what I heard. I had the Colts running backs barely being better from what I heard. I had the Texans receivers being a little bit better from what I heard. And I had Luck being better from what I heard from you too.
We forgot tight ends existed.
Oh yeah.
Well,
tight ends are better too, by the way.
Tight ends are not in because no one mentioned it. It's only from what I hear.
Okay.
Ryan also brought up a lot of good stats. Tyler used some nice, clever wordplay, but Ryan did shut him down a few times with that wordplay. So it's a very, very hard decision here. But my decision is that Houston has had the better argument and has won this here. Congratulations, Houston.
Yeah.
I will tell you why.
Appreciate it. Hey, that was fun.
He was able to really convince me the receivers were better. He was also able to convince me through multiple stats and Alfred Blue things and other things like Dante Foreman about shutting down Tyler's points. That was good with the running backs. I still had the Colts running backs being better, but he knew how to shut them down with facts instead of feelings, which Tyler used a lot of feelings. Ryan used facts. Now I'll let you say it.
What?
You say it.
Oh, facts don't care about your feelings.
He loves that. So, I'm sorry, Tyler. This is nothing personal. This is honestly a very hard decision for me to make, and you were very close to winning. It just came down to the facts. And facts, well, as it says on that shirt, don't care about your feelings. So, I'll thank you guys for welcoming me here. I'm wearing Colts blue. And Texans blue now.
That Colts wild card blue.
Hey, congratulations, man.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Sorry about that.
You'll be proven right in January.
All right, who wants to wrap up this video?
Me and I usually do it. I guess I'll do it. I'm actually extremely disappointed right now. But that was really fun, actually. I did
was
enjoy
fun.
that. That was
loved
intense.
it. Win or lose.
We've actually had more intense arguments than that before.
I want to do more of these regardless.
Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the 2 videos I'm going to make this into. This has been way too long. But we will make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below who you thought won. And we'll see you guys later.